Welcome back to the channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for more content of any sports I feel like doing. It's my channel. You know, I just go along with what seems good, like that Coutinho video. Really good game there. And let's get to what we're going to talk about here. The Ottawa Senators versus the Edmonton Oilers. Okay, just like all of you, I'm tired of this. Dave Tippett is 0-12 in his last 12 coaching chances there games. The two wins were with Gullickson, and the other assistant coach. Can't remember his name off the top of my head right now because it's like clearly 1 a.m. in the morning when I'm doing this. Tippett's 0-12. There was a positive at the start of the game. We didn't allow a first goal within the first 5 minutes, but we did allow a goal to start the game as we trailed. We had led in the first goal. The negative there, I don't know what our penalty killers were doing. They were basically all four in the corner. Josh Norris was all by himself. Like, that's pretty much sums up why we're losing right there is we can't play defense. It was a nice play. Skinner bit on the guy coming across. It was a good goal. Don't blame Skinner because it's basically a 2-on-0. Derek Ryan wasn't really in the way of anything. Alright, so we go to almost the end of this first period. There's Zach Kassian on a power play. We score 1-1. All fine and dandy. They come out in the second period. Yamamoto scores on a beautiful flip pass by Fogle. They were pretty good second period. Like, that second period was the reason we won 16 out of our first 21 games. Because that's how they played. They were pressuring, and they didn't let off the pedal at all. Then, Lamborghini Perlini scored. I believe he only had, actually, let's go look at this. I believe he only had, yeah, so Perlini had literally 5 minutes and 23 seconds of ice time all game. The fourth line was really good. The third line offensively was good, but really the defense wasn't. So anyway, it is 3-1 after the second, all fine and dandy. It was a really good second period. Like, that's how they used to play at the start of the season. Anyway, we go to the third period. Gaudette scores. Can't really blame Skinner on that. It was a nice shot over the shoulder backhand, getting the goalie to slide. But again, where was the defense on that play? Legason got beat. What else is new? Then Formanton scored literally, I don't know, 2.5 minutes after that. Then Zub scored to make it 4-3 Ottawa, which was Bouchard's fault. I don't like criticizing Bouchard because he does have high potential. He's a really good defenseman. But he screened his own goalie. Zub saw that, scored. Darnell Nurse did tie it up 4-4, though, with a nice shot and a nice pass by Zach Hyman. Jesse Puljujarvi had 2 points this game. But then, 4 minutes later, Josh Norris on the power play scores, because he was left wide open, beat Skinner pretty cleanly. And then Zach Sanford scored an empty net. This game is frustrating. It's frustrating being an Oilers fan. A lot of you guys will agree that watch this. It's time to fire Tippett. And I was with Dolan ETV on the mic actually playing some games. And we're waiting after McDavid's interview. And it's like, okay, what's going on here? Zach Kassian's supposed to be up. So Zach Kassian comes up for the interview. And they're like, were you guys having a team meeting or were you working out? And he's like, I was just working out. Yeah, right, he was just working out. And then at the end he said the writing's on the wall. So I don't know if that means he got traded and he found out today, or if they finally said, you know what, we want Tippett out, we need to go in a new direction. That could be something too. Uh, Going back to Tippet, I don't understand the logic in this. Your best D pairing all season, defensively, number wise, the in depth numbers, has been Keith and Cece. 5-on-5, they have the best numbers out of all the pairings we've used. Why separate them? Why would you put Bouchard on the third D pairing with Legason? Legason's a liability still. He isn't trained. He hasn't reached his potential. I believe he has potential, but Niemelin has more, and with Niemelin being injured, Legason's getting more opportunities. So why would you break CC and Keith up, move Bouchard to the third line pairing, and do that? Why wouldn't you go with Slater Cuckoo actually being available today? Slater Cuckoo and Tyler Benson were available, same as Fogle. They all three came off. Fogle played. Why wouldn't you go with Nurse, Bouchard, Keith, CC, Barry, Cuckoo? Why wouldn't you do that? Wouldn't that just make the most sense instead of killing the lead? Yeah, you could say, well, this game was on everyone. Well, no. Dave Tippett is doing a horrible job coaching. He might know what he's doing at practice and all that. Sorry. But he does not know what to do when it comes game time. Why play the fourth line? Fourth line had an amazing game. They were forechecking. They were getting, a lot of offensive zone time than defensive. But they only play 5 minutes. But you're working your top players. No doubt in the third period they're going to be tired. Let's go look at all this ice time here for the Edmonton Oilers. And we'll go here. So we'll start this game for you. So Draisaitl had 24 minutes. Fogle only had 12. Hyman 18. Kazian 19. McDavid had 25. Darnell Nurse had 26. I'm sorry. Yeah, Legason deserved to have 7 minutes of ice time. Bouchard only played 12 because they weren't good together. But Shore 5 minutes. Perlini 5 minutes. Sevier had 8 due to the penalty kills and stuff. Spread that around. If you notice your fourth line is actually rolling and they have a goal, put them in. Give your head a shake, Tippett. If we are down by 1 in the last 4 minutes of the game, put that fourth line out for between the 4 and 3 minutes left. Put your second line, and then you could play your first line for the remainder of the game. For the minute and a half, try and score. That way, they are rested. That third line wasn't doing anything, so they can sit. They did have a nice goal, but they were on the goal for the tying goals that happened. But you're not going to win if you're going to kill McDavid and Draisaitl within the first 2 periods. That's not going to happen. Yeah, okay, putting them together, I did like that second line of McLeod, Puljujarvi, and Hyman. I believe Puljujarvi needs to get out of the slump he's in. But that second line was good. If you want to keep Draisaitl and McDavid together, go for it. McLeod is showing progress. But at the same time, you need to spread that out. That fourth line was playing phenomenal. You got to stop mixing and matching because Cece and Nurse looked lost out there tonight playing together. Keith and Barry, I don't know what was going on there. They couldn't make a pass to save their life to each other. They could pass to the forwards. But you start moving these players around. You had Slater Cuckoo back for this game. You got to use him. William Legason is, falling down the depth chart. I believe he's behind Niemelina now. I believe he's behind Proberg. He might be right up there with Samorukov. But Samorukov needs a little bit more time to develop. But what else can we do as Oilers fans? We need a goalie. I believe Stuart Skinner will get it eventually. I still believe that. But if he had a mentor that a lot of these young goalies had coming up, like Matt Murray when he was good with Pittsburgh. Yes, they had a good team, but he had a mentor in Marc-Andre Fleury. You look at, you know, Tuukka Rask. There was Thomas Vokoun there for a bit to mentor him. You look at anyone, they've all had mentors. The Oilers goalies don't have mentors. Yeah, you could say Smith, but Smith isn't like he's a good goalie, but he's not like a Dwayne Rollison was. He's not a Mika Kiprusoff or, guys that could really help another guy out. And, they talked on the panel in the intermission about Kane coming. I believe a lot of people don't want Kane to come. But I believe, hockey sense wise, Kane is a really good player. He is third in his draft class in goals scored. He could spark this team a bit. I know the off ice stuff sucks, but we gave Kazian a try when the off ice stuff happened with him, and Kazian's gotten better. He has a family now. So there's that. But back to, what's going on here. Like, Ken Holland needs to pull a trade, sign someone. I don't, it's frustrating being an Oilers fan right now because we started 60-5. I didn't think we could start like that. The team was rolling like that second period tonight, and wheels fell off. Couple goals that aren't on Skinner. One he should have had probably. It was the Josh Norris second power play goal. But what do we do? We can't do anything. We can just call for Tippet to be fired, which I honestly hope that's tomorrow. Because Tippett's coaching decisions during the games and before the games are horrendous. And some of you might come say, well, you're not coaching in NHL, you don't know anything. Well, just look at the stats, the number-wise. You're taking away your top defensive pairing in Keith and Cece's, trying to separate them, which didn't work. You're literally putting a third line together that's hardly ever played together. They tried to stretch pass it a lot, which worked at some points tonight, which could be an arsenal in their game. But, Legason got beat. You saw how Slater Cuckoo can play against top-end talent. You saw that when he was with Chicago when they knocked us off. You gotta use Slater Cuckoo more. He's ready for the NHL. Legason, he's been in the NHL for a bit. Legason hasn't. And the time is now. Yes, McDavid, Draisaitl, and Nurse are signed, and Nuge is signed, and Hyman is signed. But the time to actually win is now. Now is where we make the playoffs every year. We get one or two series wins, and then, okay, we get knocked out a couple of years. But then we add that one more piece, which could be in our system, where it could be Carter Savoy, it could be Cooper Marody, Bargot, Holloway. Those guys get up, play third line, fourth line. Watch out. We are a team that could win the Stanley Cup, but it needs to be a win now momentum, and guys that we have, Koskinen needs to go. As much as I love Zach Kassian, he needs to go. We gotta let go of Legason. He's not good at all. Russell's hurt. We need better goaltending, so Koskinen and Smith need to go. Stuart Skinner can be a backup, and like I said in my Stuart Skinner video, it could literally come down to Stuart Skinner and Stalock being the Oilers goalies if we make the playoffs. It really can. And I know I'm ranting, but God, we're 2-10-2 in our last 14. Dave Tippett is 0-12 in that stretch because he was gone with COVID. What else does he need to do? He watched the same game we did when he was on COVID, and look how good they played for Golickson. Sorry. clearly, I think this team has lost faith in each other. I believe this team has lost faith in Dave Tippett, which I would by this point. I've done it in sports. You lose faith in the coach, you start playing like crap. And it is what it is, but at the end of the day, there has to be a decision being made here. And, a lot of people don't think Mike Babcock would be a good coach, which you never know. He could be a bad coach or a good coach. But, like, look at Bakersfield. I know that's the AHL and that's not the NHL. But look what Jay Woodcroft is doing down there with these young guys. He is he's doing an amazing job. Like, you see Ryan McLeod come up. He's really good. Look what he's done with Bouchard in a little time. Look what he's done with Stuart Skinner. And I've been saying for a long time, that fourth line, it's not like how it used to be where it's heavy bodies like the Islanders have. What's their nuts? Cal Cutterbuck and Martin. NHL's not built that way anymore. Our fourth line could really easily be Benson, McLeod, and Marody. Have the AHL's first line as our fourth line. They have chemistry already. They know how to play with each other. That line is always the top scoring line for the past 3-4 seasons in the AHL. Go do it that way. And then, they get experience. You get Holloway coming up. You got Burgo. Carter Savoy's going to be huge. You use a bunch of your prospects, homegrown talent, and you'll be great. Like, I'm excited for the future of the Oilers, but to win now, we got to change now. And, what else can we do? Yeah, Ken Holland was right. 10 coaches in 13 years or whatever he said. Yeah, so what? It's win now, and we need a coach that, isn't scared to do stuff. Like, isn't scared to say, hey, put Dry and McDavid together. Or if Kane's there, imagine a line with Kane that can score, Draisaitl can score, and having McDavid feed each side for a one-timer? That'd be phenomenal. But anyway, that's it for my rant and rave. I've gone on long enough, and if you're still tuning in for this video, thanks for tuning in. It just sucks being an Oilers fan right now, and I was actually happy not watching hockey throughout this COVID break because of all the commotion on this team. I still love the Oilers, but something needs to change. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great rest of your night, early morning, and I'll catch you on the next one.